Right now on ABC 10 News at 4 o'clock, 8 people killed at a FedEx plant. The new information we're learning about the teenaged former employee who pulled the trigger. San Diego's homebound seniors unable to go out and get vaccinated. What's being done to bring the shot to them? And the city's plan to reopen part of the damaged Ocean Beach Pier.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
We're learning a lot more about the young man who killed 8 people at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. Good afternoon, I'm Kimberly Hunt. In the last few hours, police identified the 19-year-old who used to work for the company. Reporter Daryl Forges has more.
What we are left with this morning is grief.
For at least the 45th time in the span of a month, a community rocked by a mass shooting.
Grief for the employees who have lost their coworkers, and grief for the many Americans struggling to understand how tragedies like this continue to occur.
At least 8 people are dead and multiple injured after a gunman opened fire at an Indianapolis FedEx facility late Thursday night. The gunman also dead, police say, after taking his own life.
This individual has since been identified as 19-year-old Brandon Hull. FedEx officials have confirmed that Mr. Hull was a former employee at the facility.
Many of you have already asked what the motive of this shooting was, and with less than 12 hours since the shooting, it would be premature to speculate.
Families and friends reuniting with the survivors after spending the overnight hours trying to get information about their loved ones, as many employees did not have their cell phones on them while working inside. In Washington, President Joe Biden ordering flags to half staff as his administration confronts yet another mass shooting.
There is no question that this violence must end, and we are thinking of the families that lost their loved ones.
And that was Daryl Forges reporting. Authorities say police seized a gun from Brandon Hull last year, and he last worked for FedEx in 2020, but police say they don't know why he left or if he still had ties to workers at the facility. And of course, we will continue following any developments in this story. You can stay on top of them by downloading the 10 News app. And just in, President Biden will lift the Trump-era cap on the number of refugees let into the U.S. Earlier today, Biden moved to increase the speed with which refugees are processed, but left the cap at 15,000 for the year. Well, that triggered a backlash from Democrats. So the White House now says the president will increase the cap to an unspecified number by May 15th. And turning now to coronavirus, as vaccine eligibility expands to everyone 16 and older, some homebound seniors are still waiting to get their shot. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains what's being done to solve that problem.
The pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is slowing down the already complicated process of vaccinating San Diego County's homebound seniors. So far, just under 600 have received a COVID-19 vaccine through the county's partnership with hospitals and firefighters. That's according to a county spokesperson. Serving Seniors, which provides many different services to low-income residents, has been in talks with county officials in 211 to help vaccinate its homebound individuals. But without the J&J vaccine, it's difficult to implement the plan to go door to door.
I think because of the transportation issues, we were really counting on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to solve that problem.
UCSD Health hasn't really been impacted by the pause. Aside from helping the county, it has its own program for members called At Home. Teams have been able to give vaccinations to members unable to leave their homes using Pfizer and Moderna only.
We've been subject to the limited supply with just like everybody else. So we confirm when the vaccine's available, and we make sure that we're getting that dosing out to the patients as quickly as we possibly can.
They've vaccinated about 300 people this way since February. More help may be on the way. The state announced the California Department of Public Health, along with Blue Shield California, will be partnering with the Emergency Medical Services Authority to send out ambulance strike teams to vaccinate homebound people across the state. San Diego County has put in a request to receive that help locally.
We have requested and expect we will get one here in San Diego, and these will be teams that will be assisting in the effort around homebound seniors. Again, it's been a challenging work. We have a lot of providers, a lot of folks working to get to our homebound seniors.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
It's unclear when strike teams could be in San Diego. Officials also say the My Turn website will eventually be updated so people can request an at-home vaccine. A big turnout today for a no-appointment vaccine clinic at Southwestern College. The Pfizer shots were given on a first-come, first-served basis. The Solano family arrived 3 hours before the vaccine clinic opened.
Us personally is really important because we have our 9-year-old who has heart conditions. He just had open heart surgery recently, and we need to protect him.
This comes as the CDC says about 5,800 fully vaccinated Americans have contracted COVID. That's out of about 77 million people. Pfizer and Moderna are already working on booster shots.
The number of Americans getting COVID vaccines is steadily climbing. The CDC says 30% of adults are fully vaccinated and nearly half have gotten at least one dose. But Dr. Anthony Fauci says we may need to get to 85% to reach herd immunity. Beginning Monday, President Biden wants adults of all ages to be eligible for the shots. And with variants in the mix, the race is on to deploy as many advocates for vaccines as possible.
And so we've heard from small employers that a lot of them want to take up the mantle of being leaders in their communities and talk about why vaccinations are important to getting our economy back on track.
Small business owners stand to gain a lot in the U.S. vaccination efforts. Vaccinating about 3 million people a day is expected to create more than 2 million jobs over the summer. That's according to the Penn-Wharton budget model. The organization Public-Private Strategies is mobilizing these owners through a coalition called Reimagine Main Street. Its goal is to help communities of color rebound and build back better. They encourage owners to educate themselves and get vaccinated and to get a plan together for their employees. That includes giving them information and tools, including paid time off to get vaccinated or recover from any side effects, and then become ambassadors in their community. Small business owners are typically regarded as highly trustworthy individuals.
So we think they're a really important messenger because they're very locally based. People know their small business owner, and particularly in communities of color, they play an outside leadership role in educating their employees and community about actions they should take. So we think this is a natural place for them to then step up and show leadership on vaccines.
More than 400 small businesses have pledged to help in local vaccine efforts. That includes working with local agencies to support vaccine distribution or educational events.
As children head back to the classroom, many are facing trauma from the impact of the pandemic. ABC 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle explains what signs to look for and how parents and teachers can help students return safely back to school.
Going back to school has been a huge relief for mom and educator Julie Hansen.
He came home yesterday and he was bouncing all around, and for a pretty steady guy, that was really neat to see him so excited.
Her son is a sophomore in high school, and while he's adjusted well, healthcare experts say data shows many students have not.
I've seen hindrance, I've seen regression, I've seen more dependence.
Child and educational psychologist Reena B. Patel said she's seeing this manifest in anxiety attacks.
How do parents recognize the warning signs of things that are that serious, like panic attacks?
The big indicator is a child coming up to you and telling you they're having a hard time breathing. And my heart is racing. I'm feeling dizzy.
Ways to calm that anxiety are meditating, taking deep breaths, and if this persists, getting in contact with a professional like Patel. The anxiety bringing more kids to the emergency room. Rady Children's Hospital confirmed with ABC 10 News data from March 2020 through May shows a 5 to 7% spike in emergency room visits related to mental health. The numbers dipped from May to June during the summer and increased by 7% from July until now.
We have an increase in suicide ideations, thoughts, because they're feeling isolated, alone.
Patel said the solution is parents and teachers making room for mental wellness each day. Hansen teaches at several local colleges and is already on board.
I'm hoping to take some workshops to help me be able to help them.
Patel said children are resilient and will bounce back, and this is a learning experience we can all grow from. Cassie Carlisle, ABC 10 News.
If you or anyone you know needs help, there is someone to talk with 24 hours a day at the Access and Crisis line, the number right there on your screen.
Even with vaccines, the pandemic is by no means under control yet. According to Johns Hopkins, nearly half of states had at least a 10% increase in positive cases yesterday. Hospitalizations are also up in 38 states, according to Washington Post analysis of government data. About 5 to 8% higher, according to the CDC. The age range of those patients has also dropped, and they are generally less sick. Average daily deaths have also increased for a third day in a row to over 700 a day. Today, the White House announced it's giving another $1.7 billion to the CDC and states to combat emerging threats, including variants.